Hi, I'm Natalie Russell. I'm a Sector Engagement Lead at Our Watch.
And I'm Cameron McDonald. I'm also a Sector Engagement Lead at Our Watch and the lead author of the Men in Focus Practice Guide.
The Men in Focus Practice Guide builds on the evidence review through consultation with people working with men and boys. It incorporates practical strategies for working to prevent men's violence against women and transform outdated masculine stereotypes.
Men in Focus in Practice embeds theory while showcasing examples of effective initiatives, case studies, practitioner reflections and resources that can be used to effectively motivate men and boys to get involved in prevention. It builds the case for why they should get involved and how they can play important roles in preventing men's violence against women. The backbone of the practice guide are the 5 guiding principles.
The 5 guiding principles are drawn from the evidence about what works for effective and ethical practice. They are interconnected and seek to address some of the challenges we experience in this work. They can be used as the building blocks for developing primary prevention initiatives with men and boys and tailored to the needs and context of your work.
Intersectional approaches to this work are important for honouring and connecting with people's different life experiences and circumstances. People, including some men, can experience both privilege and discrimination at the same time. This is because gender isn't the only aspect of identity that impacts the way people experience the world.
Other aspects include race, sexuality, socioeconomic background, physical ability, neurodiversity, faith, geographic location, migrant status and age. For example, Aboriginal men are at times treated differently and discriminated against by the justice system and in the media, more frequently than non-Aboriginal men are.
Gay men still experience discrimination in some aspects of their life due to homophobia in ways that heterosexual men don't. In this way, it's important to understand that it is structures and systems of oppression and discrimination that cause these inequalities and not the individual identities themselves. Therefore, it is structures and systems that we are focused on changing, not individuals.
Intersectional approaches acknowledge the harm that some men have experienced due to these structures of inequality. They incorporate trauma-informed approaches that honour the diversity of lived experiences, build collaboration and empathy, and don't shame. Good intersectional practice will involve co-design with communities to ensure initiatives are community-led, culturally responsive and community building. Strong relationships and genuine partnerships can encourage two-way learning to strengthen prevention initiatives.
Gender transformative practice is critical to primary prevention efforts. Through this approach, we can examine, question and transform outdated gender stereotypes, relations and structures. This approach actively challenges gender norms, which are the unwritten rules about how to behave in society that are harmful to women, men and people of all genders. In our work with men and boys, gender transformation promotes more expansive, more inclusive and less limiting ideas of masculinity that are based on equality and respect.
To do this, we need to draw attention to the ways that men and boys are socialised and pressured to conform to particular ideas of how to be a man. We need to challenge binary categories and binary thinking wherever we can. We avoid reinforcing rigid, stereotypical or outdated ideas of gender and masculinity in our efforts to engage men. We should always be empathetic and inclusive in our approaches.
For example, saying this is how real men should behave and this is the ideal way women should look and be and the roles they should play in families and in society. We avoid intentionally or unintentionally reiterating those sorts of stereotypes. It's also important that our work moves beyond awareness raising and we act to transform ideas and structures of gender and other forms of discrimination and oppression that limit how we can be in the world. For example, it's a good start that some workplaces are introducing parental leave policies, encouraging men and secondary caregivers to contribute more equally to childcare in the home. But we need to simultaneously transform the social norms and stereotypes that stop many men from actually accessing this leave and using other flexible work options.
Strengths-based approaches are accessible and work with men where they are at. They connect with the types of positive values, beliefs and hopes they hold that can support the prevention of men's violence against women. They raise men's awareness of the issues and provide them with the knowledge and skills required to become advocates and allies. Strengths-based approaches can highlight the diversity of experiences, values and masculinities that men hold that are outside of masculine stereotypes.
Many men recognise that outdated masculine stereotypes are harmful and constraining. They are receptive to messages about the benefits of alternative forms of masculinity and moving beyond gender norms and expectations entirely. There is strong agreement that men can play a role in preventing men's violence against women, with a majority being supporters or persuadable to these ideas. Strengths-based approaches with positive messaging will help garner greater support in your work with men and boys. Strengths-based approaches involve engaging and working with all people, including women, because we can all uphold and conform to ideas of gender that are harmful or constraining.
Effective prevention efforts encourage men to connect with their values and their emotional selves to inspire them to take action. A strengths-based approach can mean engaging men and boys in safe and familiar environments, meeting men where they're at, using language and messaging that is respectful, gender transformative, accessible and meaningful to them. It's done in ways that are trauma-informed so that it's simultaneously healing and community building.
It promotes and encourages positive alternatives for how men can be, how they can express themselves as full emotional beings, what they can aspire to, and how they can have healthy relationships. This includes promoting peer relationships with other men that are based on equality and respect for women and people of all genders. Positive male role models can be powerful when their message is gender transformative and accountable to women.
Effective approaches help to build men's empathy for the day-to-day life experiences of women and gender diverse people. We often see how men's eyes can be opened to a whole new world of understanding when they look beyond unhelpful gender stereotypes. And this heightened appreciation for the experiences of others benefits them and their relationships in the long run.
Because women experience violence overwhelmingly perpetrated by men, men must work with women to end gender-based violence. Women have been leading this work for a long time. As such, there are women and women's organisations that bring a wealth of experience, knowledge, expertise and insight that we can learn from. Men's allyship in preventing men's violence against women is centred on working together with women. This involves listening to and remaining accountable to women, standing with, not for women, having constructive and respectful relationships, both personally and professionally.
Some of the ways we can maintain accountability in prevention practice is to consult and partner with women and women's organisations to ensure women's insights and concerns are honoured in our work. This should include women from diverse backgrounds and organisations representative of diverse experiences.
It means creating space for speakers and facilitators of all genders and sexualities. Most importantly for men, it means doing the work on ourselves. On a personal level, becoming more aware of and addressing our own ingrained stereotypes, privileges, sexisms, and blind spots. Professionally, it involves engaging in reflective practice and thinking how we might work differently to ensure a diversity of voices and perspectives are included in our work.
Outdated masculine stereotypes are still embedded and preferenced across all levels of society and impact our lives in countless ways. That's why, to end gender inequality and gender-based violence, we can't just address individual causes of violence against women in isolation.
Work with individuals and groups of men around attitudinal and behaviour change will continue to be important, but our efforts need to be so much more than that. Prevention solutions should challenge and transform broader social norms, create more progressive policies, encourage positive, systemic and institutional reforms, and drive change at community and organisational levels. For example, we can tell boys that they are allowed to cry. We can let boys play with dolls. We can encourage and support men to be more able to express themselves emotionally and seek support for their mental health when they need it. We can encourage more men to work in the caring professions and to take on unpaid caring responsibilities in the home. We can change workplace policies to support and encourage men to do this more. And we can address the gender pay gap that sees caring professions and other more feminised industries paid less than male-dominated professions. We need to challenge and transform outdated and harmful masculine stereotypes across all levels of society. The Practice Guide offers tips on how practitioners can prepare themselves for this work, like understanding your own biases and knowing your stuff, knowing the theory, and how you can maintain your practice in nourishing and accountable ways. This includes how to work with men in ways that are collaborative and not collusive or coercive, and guidance on how to understand, plan for, and respond to backlash and resistance. When men play a key role in challenging and transforming gender inequality, we can create a world where all women are respected equally and live free from violence.